I'm Sally Mills of Lavolta and Lavolta Principles, and welcome to Digital Bullets 2010. We've asked some industry experts to share their thoughts on issues and developments in the digital industry. We've given each person 20 seconds to answer those questions, or else they get the chop. So we'll be broadcasting a sizzling digital bullet on a regular basis. One question answered with many different points of view. Hope you enjoy. E-commerce and e-business seems to be really beginning to find its feet in Australia, and perhaps just a little behind the US and Europe. What are the most interesting developments you think we'll see in B2C e-commerce in the next 12 months? Who is doing the most interesting things?
Look, I think Australia is a long way behind, not just a touch behind in terms of e-commerce. If you look at the United States, there's a day called Cyber Monday where people can shop for significant discounts online before Thanksgiving each year, and over 100 million people actually participated this year, which is a huge number. So that's really, a stake in the ground of where e-commerce can be.
The opportunity is huge. I think it's really exciting to see, and the e-retailer conference last year, about mid last year, was the best event I went to, I think, last year, and I heard some stats from eBay about how much of the Australian online, the revenue being spent online, how much of it's going offshore because Australian retailers are just not offering local consumers the products and the convenience of shopping online.
In the fashion industry, I've done quite a bit of work with Levi's and seeing some really amazing stuff happening with Dockers, for example, out of the US, where they're actually enabling consumers to customise the kind of data that they actually serve them through their internet experience, and it's a point of sale right through their desktop. So it's customised, it's rich, it's only serving them what they want. It's not giving them a whole lot of meaningless crap they haven't signed up for.
I really like what Salmat are doing with their Lasoo products, and also what Catalog Central are doing, because they're really helping the retailers come into the digital space, but in a way that looks familiar to a retailer.
And retail is really dominated by two players, and neither of whom have done a great job of driving consumers online. There are already people doing really interesting things on the internet. I think people like Deals Direct are doing interesting things in the e-commerce B2C space. But I think what we're going to see over the next 12 to 18 months is an acceleration of people buying stuff from the overseas retailers who are just doing a better job than the local ones.
I think in terms of the most innovative use of e-commerce, Apple's strategy is fantastic. They've become a kind of one-stop shop. For one, it's the only place to get content for those devices. And what Apple's done really well is they have direct input into the product that's used on their devices, which is ideal. So they have input into the media products, they have input into what formats they can use and can't use. I think that offers absolutely amazing control.
I think one of the most interesting things with e-commerce is that a lot of Australians are feeling more and more comfortable with purchasing overseas and getting it delivered to Australia. And I think as that happens more, a lot of the manufacturers who are distributing their goods in Australia will start to have a direct channel or a direct relationship with those consumers.
I think the second thing that's going to have a major impact over the next 12 months is social media. And I think we're going to start to see a lot more social media applications where we start to really refer friends into buying particular, products or applications or opportunities, probably similar to what happens in the affiliate markets now. And I think social networking is going to have a very large part on that friend referral for business opportunity in the next 12 months.
I'd contend we're actually well behind the US and the UK. E-commerce in Australia hasn't actually taken off at all. The biggest issue we face in this country, though, is pricing. So, it's a hell of a lot cheaper for me to buy things overseas than buying locally. So until, Australian retailers can contend with that, I think we'll be struggling.
I think there's a long, long way to go to bring in, not only just to start with an e-commerce platform, but going beyond sell to much more around sell with. I also love platforms like Threadless, where they're sort of letting their consumers be the designers and their market researchers and creating whole new ways of running retail businesses.
I think it's going to be a really interesting next 12 months, and that we will be seeing some of Australia's large retailers coming online. They can't ignore the threat from overseas retailers anymore. In terms of the trend, I think social shopping and social commerce is going to be It already is growing momentum, and when Facebook actually start publicising and release a micropayment system, I think that's going to suddenly open up the floodgates for social commerce and really popularise it.
Retail. Think about how much is spent online, retail advertising, yet the amount that's sold online is such a minuscule part that whether that be fashion, fast-moving consumer goods, more and more people will be buying stuff online. And I think that's really where those avenues go. eBay, yeah, it's there, but it looks crap. So you're going to start to see a lot more digital companies coming in making great online experiences for people to buy or at least pre-shop before they actually make a purchase.
Well, I'm going to take the mobile view on this because I think the whole area of mobile payments and mobile commerce is just beginning, so there are lots of opportunities. I mean, the first one will be around WAP billing, where you can use the facilities of the carrier to pay for goods, starting off with content, mobile content, so ringtones, wallpapers, video, etc. So that will be happening later on in the year as the other carriers come on board. What we're also starting to see is the whole area of contactless payments, and what that will mean then is there will be a drive to contactless SIM cards, where you'll be able to swipe your phone to pay for goods.
The most interesting things that are taking place in the e-commerce landscape are environments where people are creating their own news channels, they're building their own audiences, they're owning their own audiences, they're satisfying their own target markets with relevant content, and then at the conclusion of that, selling their product and service.
Sites that I think are good out there and are starting to really understand this issue are things like Lasoo, etc. It's all about helping make better decisions online. At the moment they drive you to a retailer, but over time they should be facilitating the actual transaction and thus helping me purchase stuff online without having to walk into a store.